So you guys know that U.S.-China policy is a complete wreck, right? Like multi-dimensionally, Joe Biden's, foreign policy geniuses made a complete hash of this. Uh, Both Trump and Biden were more aggressive around Taiwan, but Biden really pushed it into overdrive. And then, in our policy of defending Israel's genocide, we exhibited in Yemen just how useless the U.S. Navy is in an actual conflict. Like anybody who can do the basic math, and I assure you this includes the Chinese military, now knows very well that there is no way that the United States could afford to actually, because of our failure to defend the Red Sea and how much money we've spent doing that, the Chinese military knows very well there's no way we could ever afford to physically defend Taiwan. That's simply not happening. Nobody's really acknowledging that, but that's just basically obvious and no one can dispute it. The other aspect of the Biden policy was we're going to crack down on Chinese tech. We're going to make sure they can't get some chips because, the United States, Silicon Valley tells us the United States is the only country that knows how to do this stuff. And we've learned over the past week that China has actually made a virtue out of this and has figured out how to do very powerful AI. I don't know the details here, but I've read in enough serious publications that have laid out that China has figured out how to do very powerful AI without all the expensive garbage. It doesn't actually need to cost billions and billions of dollars. We don't need $500 billion of data centers to make it happen. China has figured out how to do it for a fraction of the price. This just is the complete failure of the pro-business fundamentalists who tell us that Silicon Valley geniuses are are key to doing everything right, and the Uber hawks. They've both been completely humbled. I'm actually quite confident in the United States and our ability to compete with China long term, but the first thing we have to do is kick out all the hawks because they're idiots and they don't have any tools that are useful for confronting China. The second thing we need to do is enthusiastic antitrust that breaks up all of these useless Silicon Valley companies that are more interested in burning trillions of dollars than actually reaching any tech goals. The Biden legacy on China is garbage, and it's really amazing that nobody's actually talking about this in a concerted way, even though it's so obvious, because we don't actually have a serious foreign policy press in this country. U.S.-China policy is in shambles. Biden screwed the pooch entirely, and Trump has nothing to suggest to improve things.